Back in Newport Beach, California, we continue on in the Pro Mixed Doubles quarterfinals at the Takea Showcase. It's Lucy Kovalova and Matt Wright taking on Yana Grishkina and Hayden Patriquin in this next match with a berth in the semifinals on the line. And the winner of this one will move on to take on Jessie Irvin and Jay DeVilliers in the semifinals. It'll be a little while before Coop and Kohler know who they're going to play in the semifinals, as they will have to wait to see who wins the Todd McGuffin-Newman quarterfinal matchup, which will be the final quarterfinal matchup of the day. But aside from the one upset, and it was a big upset, chalk has mostly carried in this Pro Mixed Doubles today.
For the most part. Again, we did see a smaller upset here with, again, one of the teams we've got in front of us right now. It was Grishkina and Patriquin who actually made a little upset happen over Leah Jansen and Thomas Wilson. So not impossible to see them do that kind of thing again, but certainly they're going to have a much tougher opponent now against the two-seeded Lucy Kovalova and Matt Wright, who are really one of the most established mixed doubles pairs in this game and have been for quite some time.
They've been partners on and off the court for quite a while and just really know each other's game so well. Meantime, on the other side, yeah, you see Grishkina and Patriquin just 16 years old. He's from Yucaipa, California, about 75 miles away from Newport Beach, which sounds pretty close in terms of mileage, Jonah, but it's about 2.5 hours to go 75 miles between the two places.
Yeah, especially when you're driving around here.
Quick reflexes there. So the serve will go over to Grishkina and Patriquin on the side out.
Serve.
And Grishkina into the net, so move to the second server.
0-1-2.
Oh, firefight there by Patriquin, and the teenager taking over.
Going toe-to-toe with Lucy Kovalova. That is not an easy task, but winning that point.
Hits it into the net, so the serve back over to Kovalova and Wright.
1-1-1. Second serve.
And Wright with the misfire there.
1-1-2.
Seeing a lot of balls into the net early on in this match. You also notice the sun now almost all the way off of the court, except for that one corner on the back end. Grishkina and Kovalova. Patriquin off the net and out of bounds.
We just saw one of the typical Matt Wright speed ups, something he does so well, especially from that forehand side. You hit a solid dink his way, he will hit that hard back at you if he has the opportunity.
You'll also see Matt Wright, maybe not as much as AJ Kohler, but you see Matt Wright go to the lob now and again as well.
Especially from the kitchen line, much less from the baseline. In those long dinking rallies, he will mix it up by throwing a ball over your shoulder and basically forcing you back.
And Patriquin trying to go down the boulevard, but hits it a little bit too deep.
1-3-2.
Kovalova couldn't quite catch up to that one. So back to a single point separating these two.
Set up.
Serve going to go back over to Kovalova and Wright. Lucy Kovalova and Matt Wright doing most of their work in the Midwest out of the Wichita area. Yana Grechkina not far away in Kansas City, Missouri. Patrick Quinn, the only one with any real California ties.
4-2-1.
And that does land in. Nice execution on the backhand.
4-2-2.
Like we said earlier, Dave, Kovalova and Wright, one of the more established duos in this sport. And right now, they're really trying to find more success than they have in these last few months. Really coming in as the 2 seed, they've been high seeded in almost every tournament they've entered, only coming away recently with a silver medal in the DC Integrate Open. They really are going to be looking for more success here.
Well, and right now, Grechkina and Patrick Quinn with some momentum have it back to just a 1-point margin.
3-4-1.
Mentioned Grechkina living in Kansas City, originally from Russia.
Second serve.
I move to the second serve. Patrick Quinn will take over.
You mentioned Grechkina, though, yesterday had a pretty solid performance in the quarterfinals against Leah Jansen. Took her deep in game 2, 13-11. Leah Jansen eventually won, but a really good showing for the youngster, really coming onto the scene in a big way.
And myself and Sam Query, we had that match here on Tennis Channel yesterday.
Side out.
Patrick Quinn unable to execute the serve, the side out.
4-4-1. Point.
Grechkina would like to have that one back, as now it's a 1-point advantage again for Kovalova and Wright. Patrick Quinn kind of gets crossed up there. Might have had a chance that ball going out of bounds if Hayden could have gotten out of the way, but he kind of got frozen and got tagged in the process.
Like we said earlier, that's the danger of hitting a ball to Matt Wright's forehand. He'll speed it up right at you.
Point.
And Yana again puts it into the net, and suddenly it's a 7-4 advantage.
7-4-1. Second serve.
Wright couldn't catch up to it. Moved to 7-4-2.
7-4-2.
Off the net and in.
Tough break.
Kovalova, I mean, that's the right call by her, Jonah, because, I mean, she was going to have a hard time catching up to that once it hit the net, and all you can do is hope it's going to go out, but it doesn't.
Right, it's already past your shoulder. You just have to look at it and hope you see just a little bit of that green area outside the court.
Second serve.
Grechkina trying to work an angle there, but hits the net instead.
4-7-2. Point.
And you hear Hayden tell Grechkina to lay off that one, and they get the point as the result.
5-7-2.
Yeah, powerful drive there from Patrick Quinn, which really set up that misfire there from Kovalova. He'll go for it again, too.
And then Grechkina hits it off the handle of Matt Wright's paddle.
6-7-2. Point.
And how about this? 3 straight points now for Grechkina and Patrick Quinn.
7-7-2.
Oh, Patrick Quinn comes up with it. But Wright finishes off the exchange.
The youngster with the tweener, though, I mean, he won that point in my eyes.
I mean, let's get that one on a Sports Center Top 10.
What a move, running all the way back, whipping around, getting that tweener. It was a well-placed tweener, too. It was right down the line.
Point.
And into the net, and now Kovalova and Wright forge back ahead.
8-7-1. Second serve.
Neither team playing their cleanest pickleball right now, but at the end of the day, as far as Grechkina and Patriquin are concerned, this is a scoreline that they will take every day of the week and, well, twice on Friday.
And that one's into the net, so serve back over to Grechkina and Patriquin. Yeah, I don't think there's officially a semi-forced statistic, but if there was, we've seen a lot of semi-forced in this first game. And I would define semi-forced as not really unforced, but one you probably should have had.
Right, especially players of this caliber. Most of the shots we've seen them miss here are certainly in their wheelhouse. It's just maybe they've been sitting out for a few minutes, got to warm up again, but clearly Kovalova was ready to go for that one.
Yeah, the backhand into the corner. So 7-8-2. And his best 2 games out of 3 for berth in the semis. And quick hands, quick feet by Matt Wright. And then some power to boot.
Quick hands, too, by Grechkina. She just couldn't hang in there long enough. Defended 3, 4, even 5 of those shots by Matt Wright.
Oh,
splitting the gap.
Yeah, he really did. And he also sold it with some deception, kind of had him guessing what he was going to do. And that'll get a roar out of the crowd. The 16-year-old playing fantastic right now.
It'll get a roar out of Grechkina as well. What a point.
What defense by Grechkina. And then Patriquin unable to get it up over the net.
Again, I said it earlier, you get all the hard ones back, and finally you have a chance to go for a reset, go for a pretty typical third shot drop, or what would feel like one, and unfortunately Patriquin just couldn't do it.
Side out.
And that is going to be long on the return, so serve will change sides on the side out.
Second serve.
And we'll move to 8-8-2.
Yeah, this one is not coming that easily for Kovalova and Wright. Still some work to do.
Side out.
And Kovalova into the net. This has not been the cleanest of games.
8-8-1. Second serve.
And we'll move to 8-8-2.
Yeah, Patriquin just didn't lift that one quite enough. Went for that top spin roll
8-8-2.
drop, but didn't lift it high enough.
Patriquin started playing pickleball
Side out.
roughly 3 years ago. The side out there was a committed
8-8-1.
baseball player before he picked up pickleball, and then said, you know what, I like pickleball a lot better. Asked his parents if he could stop playing baseball and focus on pickleball all the time.
Point.
Matt Wright hits it right at Grechkina.
See that wind up from Patrick Quinn. Really good to show that deception on even those smaller dinks. Go with that same wind up each time so that your opponents don't quite know when you're going to come hard at them.
Well, Patrick Quinn and Grishkina, they're now looking up at Kovalova and Wright, so they decide, you know, we've got a timeout. Let's go ahead and use the timeout right here. And, you know, Jonah, I think both of these sides, Grishkina and Patrick Quinn and Kovalova and Wright, they both probably feel like, man, we should have won this game already because of all the balls that they normally would hit over the net that they've been unable to execute.
Both of these teams have had plenty of opportunities to capitalize on some of their opponents' mistakes, and some things have just slipped away. We've seen a couple of third shot drives, a couple of drops from Patrick Quinn that have just found the net. And on the side of Kovalova and Wright, we've seen a couple of mistakes. That right there, highlight of the game so far, the clean tweener line drive from Patrick Quinn. Of course, Kovalova and Wright still able to win that point, but that's the ceiling. That's how high the ceiling can go for a player like Hayden. You know he's got it in him, and he and Grishkina both need to find that energy again if they want to close out this first game.
Well, out of the timeout, who's going to take this first game? Just
9-8-1.
the slimmest of margins right now at 9-8. Move to 9-8-2.
I think we're seeing a little bit of that frustration come out of the
9-8-2.
right Kovalova side of the court. Kovalova clearly wanted that one. The ball was high enough. She just didn't get it in bounds.
That time it's Grishkina into the net, and that'll take us to game point number 1.
10-8-2.
Wright able to work his way up to the kitchen line, and that's going to close out game 1.
11-8.
So not exactly textbook in terms of cleanliness, but in the end, it's an 11-8 win for Kovalova and Wright.
At the end of the day, the same as an 11-4. Maybe not in terms of the mental game or in terms of how it looked, but the score is the same, and now they put themselves in a great place going forward to game 2.
Yeah, one game away is the number 2 seed from getting to the semis. Game 2 coming your way after this timeout. Yana Grishkina on the left, Hayden Patrick Quinn on the right. And oh, so close to being able to take game 1 against Kovalova and Wright, but in the end, it is the number 2 seed that takes that first game.
Game 2.
Grishkina and Patrick Quinn will start off with the serve here in game 2. And the winner will move on to the semifinals, where they will take on Jesse Irvin and Jay DeVilliers.
1-0-2.
Dave, something tells me that Kovalova and Wright are going to come out swinging. They did this in their previous round after winning a game 12-10, just barely. They decided no more messing around, and then they won the game 11-1. Feels like a similar situation for them, so Grishkina and Patrick Quinn, they've got to start out hot.
And they get their first point there to Kovalova and Wright.
1-1-1.
Lucy and Yana. Oh, right down the boulevard.
Matt Wright, we saw him mixing in a lob here. It looked like it may have worked against Grishkina for a moment, but they were able to get it back and end up taking that one.
That one does sail long. So Kovalova right now 2-1.
That's a good spot.
Point.
You could hear Matt Wright say that's a good spot, but not good enough for Patrick Quinn, who tried to paint that blue part of the court.
see where Matt Wright is standing. Definitely favoring that midline, knowing how comfortable he is on his backhand. That's why Patrick, and we saw him going for that corner just a moment ago, but of course clipping the net.
Court. So fun to watch right now. It is Matt Wright, Lucy Kovalova, though, that are trying to steal the spotlight.
Side out.
The timeout serves its purpose, though. Side out. And Hayden Patriquin will try to see if he can help his team climb out of this three-point hole. Oh, Lucy tries the ATP, but she just catches the post.
Yeah, she had the angle and she had the patience. She waited as long as she really could have, but just missed it by about an inch.
Good job by Lucy to catch up that one off the net. Oh, Yana crosses up Matt Wright.
And then look at this energy. I mean, we just talked about Tyson. That is the best Tyson impression you have seen on this court so far.
Second serve.
Great reaction, great work by the crew. Move to the second serve here at 3-4.
3-4-2. Point.
And make it 4-4.
Yeah, could that have been the momentum shift they needed?
Well, they called the timeout when it was 4-1.
4-4-2.
And they rolled off 3 straight points since.
Side out.
And now the side out to get it back over to Kovalova and Wright.
4-4-1. Second serve.
That's twice now Kovalova has put one into the net.
4-4-2.
That three.
That thrice. Twice to thrice. And the serve back over to Gryczkina and Patriquin.
4-4-1.
Yana and Hayden able to get it to the kitchen line, and Matt Wright doesn't care.
No, he's going to put that one away. Little grunt as well, just to make sure that it wasn't coming back.
Off the tape, Lucy tried to catch up to it.
She did that just a few points ago in a very similar situation. Mirrored that previous point,
she
but
already
just
kind
couldn't do
of
it.
gone into her swing, it looked like, before realizing she needed to reassess.
Nice shot.
Not messing around that time.
No. So the side out gets it back to Kovalova and Wright at 4-5.
4-5-1. Point.
And make it 5-5.
Well, my earlier prediction that Wright and Kovalova would run away with this one seemed to have been well off. This is a back and forth game if I've ever seen one.
It was 4-1 early, and you looked like you were going to be a genius, John.
best execution ever. Kind of just coming off the tip of her paddle there. You can see her smiling as she walked away. Knew she got away with one, but so tough to get that back. Matt Wright had no time to react.
But Kovalova and Wright do put that one away.
Yeah, Grechkina had to move off to the side of the court. She was kind of stuck in the kitchen there. Couldn't risk getting a ball hit right at her.
Side out.
Quick hands by Lucy, and the serve going back over now to Lucy and Matt.
Five, 5-1.
So 5-5. And then Matt tags Hayden.
I was expecting to see him reach out, apologize. Nope, that one was just right into his body. Matt Wright knew he had the shot and, well, delivered it accordingly.
6-5-1.
Oh, nice job off the baseline by Matt Wright. And you're starting to see a little bit of why this is the #2 seed
7-5-1.
in this tournament.
Defending there, shot after shot, but able to get back in it.
Oh, Matt Wright did the hard work, but Kovalova is the one who paints the finish.
Oh, look at that. Listen to that reaction from Matt Wright. You'll love to hear that energy out of him.
And Hayden and Yana are going to use a timeout as Wright and Kovalova are closing in on a berth in the semifinals. In Newport Beach, California, Dave Benz, Jonah Zwillinger, and our Tennis Channel crew, glad to have you on board for the Takea Showcase at the Tennis and Pickleball Courts at Newport Beach.
2 timeouts remain.
Tennis and Pickleball Club at Newport Beach with 39 courts.
8-5-1.
Yep.
Point.
Matt Wright did a great job catching up to the ball off the net, and that's going to result in another point.
9-5-1.
And here we go. Match, or 9-5-1, excuse me, 9-5-1, not match point yet. Grechkina!
Leaving no doubt. This time with the forehand instead of the backhand Ernie we saw a moment ago. Decisive right at Matt Wright.
9-5-2.
So 9-5-2. I'll tell you what, Yana has really found another gear, though. There's that lob we were talking about with Matt Wright, but that one's deep.
Yeah, that one more defensive as Matt Wright was on his back foot, just tried to use that to get himself back to the kitchen rather than to simply push his opponent's back.
Yep.
Second serve.
Move to the second server.
5-9-2. Point.
Well, they'll close it to 6-9.
This is some good pressure. Looks like maybe a bit more aggression was discussed during that timeout. We have seen both Patriquin and Grechkina start firing a little bit more this game.
Side out.
The side out, though, gets it back to Kovalova and Wright, 2 points away from moving on. One more quarterfinal match to come your way in the Pro Mixed Doubles before we get to the semifinals from Newport Beach. And we are 1 point away from this semifinal berth being decided. Match point for Kovalova and Wright.
10-6-1.
And Matt gets out of the way, and that's all she wrote. Kovalova and Wright winning in consecutive games. And the #2 seed, Jonah, they're going to move on to take on the 3 seed in the semis. What a matchup that should be. Irvin and De Villiers awaiting Kovalova and Wright, but for right now, Matt Lucy feeling good about winning in 2 straight games.
That'll be an iconic semifinal and definitely one to keep your eye on. Our other semifinal, of course, yet to be decided, and that's what we're likely going to be figuring out in just a moment. You've got Paris Todd and Tyson McGuffin going up against Lindsay Newman and Riley Newman. This one should be good to see.
The siblings will try to knock off Todd and McGuffin. And don't forget, our coverage continues tomorrow on Tennis Channels. We get it started at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific with the men's and women's pro doubles. And then Sunday, Championship Sunday from Newport Beach, California. We're going to step aside. Our final quarterfinal match coming up after this timeout. Stay with us as you're watching the PPA Tour.